It's currently cold and raining outside, so welcome to my bed where I'm the comfiest. I don't know why I told you that. That's of no importance whatsoever. Now you know. Hello besties, I'm Larissa. For those of you who don't know, for those of you who know, hello. Today I'm going to be answering, no, I'm not going to be answering anything, but this video stemmed from a question. Somebody asked me for tips for new readers, and then I've seen people ask me for tips of how to read faster. So that's what this video is. Just 15 tips I came up with for anybody that's just starting to read now or anybody that wants to read more. Yeah, that's basically it. Subscribe, you know? Number one, I would say the most important one is find a genre that works for you, because if you start reading a genre that you don't really like, it's gonna be very easy for you to just never read again. That's happened to me multiple times where I pick up a genre that I'm like, not really interested in this. I just don't want to read the book because it's not a genre that I enjoy. So definitely experiment with different genres. Like try fantasy, try sci-fi, try thrillers, romance, anything you want to give a try, do that and see which one you like the most. And then kind of stick to that for a little bit until you're more used to reading, and then you can branch out. You know what I mean? That's just the easiest way I think that you could get into reading, is finding a genre that really works for you. I think that when people don't like to read, it's because they haven't found the right genre yet. Number two, why did I pick up this pen? It just feels nice to talk with a pen. I feel more official, teacher-like. Call me Miss Larry Reads, you know what I mean? Anyways, what was I saying? Number two, find books that are fast-paced and short at first. I feel like picking up a book that's very complex at first may not be the best idea. Like if you pick up a heavy fantasy where there's a lot of world building, you might get bored really quick, and it might just be something that your mind's just like, bro, what's going on? Because that's happened to me before. So I feel like picking up something at first that is very fast-paced, like books that you just, a lot happens all at once. Short books, you know, 250 pages or 300 or less, something like that would be a good idea. And books that are easy to read. Like for instance, two books that I adored, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue and The Atlas Six. Right? I love those books. Would I recommend it for beginners? No, because those books are pretty complex and they do take you a while. So I feel like a lot of people would get bored if you're just starting to read. Now, would I recommend Colleen Hoover books, for instance, or Percy Jackson, The Inheritance Games? Those I would for sure recommend to beginner readers because they're easy to read and very fast paced. Number three, this is a way for you to keep reading and avoid reading slumps. What I personally do, I finish a book at night. I usually do not finish a book during the day, because if I finish it during the day, I have a lot of time to think about that book and to put myself in a slump. But if I finish it at night and I just go to sleep, the next morning I can wake up and pick up a book, and I usually won't end up in a reading slump. That would be the best advice I can give for you to just keep reading and avoid slumps. Even though reading slumps are bound to happen, like when you finish a really great series that you were obsessed with, when you finish an amazing book, or when you finish a book that you didn't like at all, slumps can happen for sure, but this is just a way to avoid. Number five. It's definitely number four, not number five, but let's just ignore me. You know what I mean? Bitch doesn't know how to count. It's fine. It's fine. Get yourself a Kindle, honestly. Even if it's just not right away, if you want to wait a sec to see if you even enjoy reading all that much, I understand, but definitely get a Kindle. That is the best advice I can give you. Like, here's my baby right here. Let me show you. Please hold, and put a pop socket in your Kindle. It is the best thing to just hold it like this. Kindles are the absolute best way to read so much, because you don't have to buy, well, you do, you can buy books on the Kindle, but first of all, they're very, very, very much cheaper than getting a paperback. And second of all, if you sign up for Kindle Unlimited, you can get so many books included in that package of Kindle Unlimited that you pay monthly. It is so worth it. Like, so many good books are on Kindle Unlimited. If you want me to do a video on some of my favorites that are on Kindle Unlimited, I can. But it's so easy to read with a Kindle because all the books are there, very accessible. So if you finish a book and you just want the next one right away, you know, you can get it on the Kindle rather than wait 1 to 2 days for it to arrive from Amazon, or for you to have to go to Barnes & Noble. You know, it's just very, very easy. And I feel like the easier something is, the more likely you are to do it. And you can read it anywhere. You know what I mean? So Kindles are just, yes. To go along with the Kindle, read in your spare time. Like if you bring your Kindle with you everywhere you go, it is so easy to just read whenever. Like if you have a short lunch break, it's just 30 minutes. You can use that time to read. If you are going to take a shower, like I bring my Kindle to the shower all the time. You can read it in there. You can bring it to the gym. Like I've done that, put it on the treadmill and just read while you're running. You know what I mean? That way you're getting healthy up here and healthy up here. Anyways, yeah, you can read in your spare time, even if it's very short time. It'll just accumulate in the end and you'll end up reading more than you thought you would. Number six, set aside a time to read every single day. So if you're just starting to read now and you don't really have a routine down yet, you can set aside some time. So if you get off work at 4 p.m., you get off school at 4 p.m., whatever, then say like at 6 o'clock, I'm gonna read for 30 minutes, for an hour, whatever. Setting aside that time and bringing yourself to have a routine can definitely really help. I'm a big routine person. I love to write things down in my journal. I love to make sure that my entire day is planned out. So that definitely helps me to just set aside some time where you're just gonna read. Put your phone away, take distractions away, and just sit there and indulge yourself in the book. I promise you're gonna love it. And also, even if it's just a little bit, don't get discouraged if you only have 30 minutes. Use those 30 minutes, you know what I mean? A little can go a long way. Number 7, audiobooks. Audiobooks. If somebody tells you that an audiobook is not technically a book, tell them to come talk to me and these hands are rated E for everyone. What do you mean audiobooks are not books? The fuck they are, obviously they are. Listening to a book is sometimes way easier because you can do it anywhere. So you're driving to work, listening to the book. You're cooking, listening to the book. You're showering, listening to the book. You have a headache and you just want to lay. You can't bear to look at words, listening to the book. It's definitely very helpful. I would sign up for Audible along with Kindle Unlimited. Lifesavers. Number 8, never go anywhere without a book. Now this is like a crutch for me. Like I use my book as a form of just shielding myself from everyone and everything because I bring this with me everywhere I go. My Kindle does not leave my side. I always have it in my purse, or I have a physical book in my purse as well. Most of the time, I'm not gonna lie to you, I have both. Most of the time I bring a physical book just in case, and I bring my Kindle just in case, because you never know. You are at a restaurant, you're gonna go eat with your family, right? Are you really gonna stop and read a paperback? Probably not. Are you really gonna stop and read a Kindle? Probably not. However, picture this, right? You get to the restaurant and they're like, oh my God, you guys, it's packed. You gotta wait an hour to eat. And everybody's just on their phones, just waiting, you know? You can pick up your Kindle, you can pick up your paperback, and you can read in that meantime. You know what I mean? So you're probably not gonna use it, but just in case, it's good to have it. It's good to have it. Just like you always carry a tampon with you. It's just good to have. Like I'll bring my Kindle with me even if I'm going out to even if I'm going to a party. I don't go to parties, but like if I go, I would bring my Kindle with me. The gym, bring your Kindle with you. You know what I mean? Number 9. Set a TBR. Now TBR, for those of you who don't know, is to be read. So those are books that you have in your TBR pile. Those are books you have not read yet. For instance, I do this every single month. So on September 31st, I will write down exactly the books I would like to read in October, just so I can kind of get an idea organized a little bit in my mind. Now, do you have to follow that TBR? No, you can definitely branch out. I'm a mood reader, for instance, so a lot of times I'm just not in the mood for the books I plan to read, but it's good to have them there because in case you finish a book really quick and you don't know what you want to read, you don't want to spend too much time thinking about it because that can lead to you just not reading for a lot of days and then you just don't want to go back into it. So if you have a little list, you can be like, okay, I put a rom-com in here, I put a thriller in here, see whichever one you're in the mood for and pick that one. It's very good to keep it organized. I'm also a big organization fan, so I love that. What number was that? Was that 9?
I literally have one job, and that is remembering what number I'm on. And I still could barely do that. So that's great.
Number 10, set page goals. You can set goals for the week or for the day. So for instance, today I'm like, oh, I want to get 50 pages done today. You can set that goal for yourself. It doesn't have to be a lot of pages. It can be 10 pages if you want, but just setting that goal so you can achieve something is definitely helpful because first of all, you're gonna really be happy once you get it done. And second of all, it's something to look forward to. So set a goal for the week, set a goal for the day, chapters or pages, whichever way you like to do it. Number 11, do not be scared to DNF a book. Now, this one I definitely need to learn. I usually do not DNF books. DNF, for those of you who do not know, is did not finish. So those are just the books that you started, you were just definitely not into it, so you stopped reading. I'm a big believer that you can definitely DNF books, but I have a really hard time doing that, so it's something I'm working on, but I'm working on it with you guys, you know? None of us are perfect. So if you're not enjoying a book and it's just hard for you to get through it, do not be scared to just close that shit and be like, bye, wasn't for me. If it wasn't for you, it wasn't for you. Don't read it, don't force yourself to read it. Now it may be timing, like sometimes if you are trying a book and you're just not in the right mindset for it, sometimes you may not like it and then later on you can pick it up again and like it. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's also nothing wrong with just not finishing a book because you didn't like it. If you keep pushing yourself, you might get into a reading slump and then you might not read anything for like a month. So it's definitely good to DNF. Do not be scared to do so. Number 12, set a good reading environment that works for you. For me, for instance, I love to read with coffee. I love to read very comfortable, so I usually just put on a big hoodie or a blanket hoodie or something, fuzzy socks, I sit on the couch because I don't like to lay because it hurts my neck, I get migraines, and I get tired. So I usually sit on the couch with my blanket, all comfy, and I have coffee. And that is my favorite way to read. And I usually open the window and like put some rain sounds in the background or something like that on the TV. So setting an environment that works for you can definitely help, something that calms you down. If you don't like noise when you're reading, go somewhere quiet. If you do like noise, you could always search up those playlists of like reading playlists where they're just instrumentals, or you can have reading playlists with lyrics, whatever works for you. I love to read in my car. That's something that is amazing to me that a lot of people don't understand, but it is so relaxing to me. So I do that a lot with coffee, just laying in my car. If you like to read outside, go to a park. If you like to read at Starbucks, do that. Just an environment that works for you, an environment that's going to relax you and that you can sit there and read for several hours, because that can be how you get in the zone and then you just don't stop and all of a sudden you finish the whole book and you're like, what the fuck just happened? You know? Environment, important in all ways, you know what I mean? Save the environment, and also the environment that you're in is important. Save the earth, we're dying out here. Number 13? I think. My favorite number, I should know this. Number 13, give romance books a try. Romance and rom-coms in general. Give those a try if you are a new reader, because I think it's the genre that you can get into the most, like very quickly. Fantasy sometimes takes a little while, same with thrillers. It takes a good book for you to enjoy it. I feel like rom-coms are very easy transitions. You guys know that romance is pretty much 99% of what I read. I also enjoy thrillers and fantasy, but I gravitate towards romance. So I'm a little bit biased here, but I feel like rom-coms are very, very great for beginners because you can just pick up any rom-com book. You'll probably like it, you'll laugh, you'll love the romance, and it'll just be really easy for you to read it. Give it a try. Give it a try. Trust me. And for the people that say that romance books aren't real books, you can go fuck yourself. I said what I said. 14. Annotating. Annotating is a way for me to keep track of what I'm reading and to really, really enjoy what I'm reading. It's just my favorite thing to do. I annotate 90% of my books. There are some that I just don't feel the need to, especially if I'm reading on the Kindle. I usually like highlight little things here and there, but I don't really annotate it. But if I have a physical copy of a book, I usually annotate it. Annotating is personal to anyone. You don't have to do it a certain way. You don't have to follow any rules. If you want me to do a whole video on annotating, I can. But I basically have like little highlighters, and then I have little post-its. You can use any post-it, any highlighter, a pen that doesn't smudge because smudging is horrible. But like I said, I can do a whole video on annotating if you want. And here's a book that I annotated, for instance, the Addicted series, my favorite. Adore you. Anyway, so you can see right here, can you even see that? Here are all the little tabs. As you can see, I annotated a lot. Usually I'll go in the back of the book and I will write like that. I will write like what the little tabs mean. Just highlight little things on the page and put the tab on it. I write a lot in it too, things that I'm feeling, especially if it's things I want to remember. I can do a whole video on this, but annotating definitely helps. My last tip, and that is don't compare or compete with anyone else and their goals. You're gonna see a lot of people, especially if you're on Book Talk, you're gonna see a lot of people that read 40 books a month. You're gonna see some people that do 20. Don't feel pressured to meet those goals. It's definitely hard for me. I do that a lot too, where sometimes I'm like, I need to read more. You should want to read more. This is fun. Reading is a hobby. Reading is fun. When it stops being fun, you're not doing it right. Don't compare yourself to anyone else in just life, but also in reading. If someone read 40 books, that's fucking awesome for them. Go them. Hooray, bitch. If someone read 5 books, that's fine. If you read 1 book, that's fine. If you read 0 books this month, that's fine. Circumstances are different for everyone. People read at different pace. Just don't compare how you're doing to how somebody else is doing. We're all doing great. We're all just living. We're all just surviving. This like gets super deep. It like I just completely start talking about someone else. But yeah, keep it fun. Anyways, those are all the tips I have, besties, for anyone who is just beginning to read, or anyone who's trying to read more or read faster, any of that jazz. Also for the reading faster thing. Someone asked me, they're like, oh, how can you read so much in a month? Those tips definitely help, but also the more you read, the faster your eyes are gonna be able to read. If that makes sense. Like you're gonna get used to the pages, you're gonna get used to the Kindle, and you're just gonna be able to read faster the more you go. It just takes practice, like anything in life. You know, you didn't learn how to ride a bike in one try. You might have. You might be one of those. You might be just an iconic genius, but most of us didn't. I hope this helped you. I'm gonna go make coffee now. I've only drank 1 coffee today, and that's crazy. Anyways, I love you, besties. Have a great day.